Hi everyone, it's Janice from WIP. We are going to be making a sort of Easter themed project today. It is called my bunny paw quilt. It's using my Bear Paw pattern, and I will link that below if you're interested in making it. It makes these nice big 16-inch square quilt blocks, and this is one that I've had done actually for a few years, and I just really wanted to get it all finished up for the holiday and just to get it out of my WIP pile, because I've been trying to work on my WIP projects this year, as you know. So this one is a really good one that I could do that was on theme for Easter week. So I thought I'd take you along for the finishing process. Again, I've made the Bear Paw quilt before, so I'll link that video down below and you can watch me build the blocks. I did it exactly the same way. These just feature some more spring prints and the bunny patterned fabric that's the feature on the paw portion of the quilt top. I've also made it as a wall hanging, but for this quilt it finishes at about 32 by 32, or no, I'm sorry, it finishes at 56. Sorry, I just realized my math was off about that. The blocks themselves finish at 28, and so the quilt here as a throw with just these 4 blocks finishes at 56 inches square. So it makes a really great fast project, or if you just want to do like one as a wall hanging, it's a nice sized wall hanging, or like Euro sham as well. So I'm just pinning everything together, and I created a back out of some scrap fabrics that I had that were in similar tones of like mint greens and these sort of like powdery pink colors to finish up my back. It's just a very typical patchwork backing. You could see there that I then used my hair marker and my acrylic ruler, and I just ran it along the 4-inch blocks to get the spacing for my quilting. I'm just doing a very loose 4-inch grid, so going diagonally one direction for 4 inches, mostly along the seams of the blocks, and then turning it and going diagonally the opposite direction along those 4-inch seams as well. I just find that over quilting doesn't really do it for me too much. Sometimes I like that, but generally I think that going with the size of the block or something that's to scale with the pattern that you've created works really well, and I don't see a reason to like over quilt something. I know some people like that really dense quilting, but for me it just gets a little stiff. So I prefer a nice drape to my quilts and blankets. So I try to keep it a little bit wider on the quilting, but you do you. So again, I'm just using the walking foot on my machine and some basic cream neutral colored thread, which is my preference for sewing and quilting in general, just like a neutral cotton. A neutral colored cotton, and yeah, I'm just running it through, being careful not to run over any pins, but since I have a 4-inch spacing, that's not too difficult. Then I like to put a tag on. I get these on Etsy. I order them custom with my little logo, and I just add my little tag by zigzagging around it in generally whatever corner. I would definitely recommend making sure to like sign your quilt. It is your piece of art, so whether you have like a custom tag or you just write it on there somewhere with a fabric marker or a permanent marker, you are taking all of this time to create your little piece of fiber art. So make sure that you are getting your artist credit. So there's my logo, Le Bruit de Fleur. And then I created my binding out of some of the cutoffs of my backing, which I really like to do when I'm just kind of doing a more scrappy traditional quilt, is just use up what's left. So the couple of inches that I had left over of the backing, I cut into 2.5-inch strips, and then I'm just making my continuous binding in my preferred method, which is where you lay one piece down, you lay the other piece sort of matching up the corners there, you can see, so that it makes a little V, and then you sew diagonally across there, and when you cut this little end off, you have a nice spread out seam so that it's not really chunky in any one direction. And I think I showed that in other videos, but I can't recall. But anyway, it's a pretty basic binding creation method if you look that up. And then I just sew it on the outside perimeter all the way around of my quilt and do my little mitered corners. So I just bring it down, fold it up, create a little pocket there in the corner, and then I'm tacking that down and going the whole way around. And I kind of like that it has that scrappy finished edge to it. There you can see this really pretty vintage rose fabric that I found for the backing. I don't really even remember where this came from. It's possible that it was just gifted to me. I honestly cannot recall. But anyway, it's got a really lovely drape to it. It's kind of a silkier like feeling cotton than some that I have. Anyway, I'm just happy to find a home for it. It's kind of a more difficult print to use to cut up for a quilt because you can see that the roses are so spaced out. So I felt like it really went well for the backing of this project because you really get to appreciate the print, and yeah, and I thought the colors matched really nicely. So here comes some of the glamour shots. So I took it outside and took a picture of this in our dry creek bed area for the holidays. I love the little bunny print. I don't think it's overly Easter though, and you can see there the backing were neutral colors for my blocks in some little floral prints. And I'm super happy with the way this one turned out. I ended up taking it down to my booth at my local antique shop, and hopefully it will sell either for the spring or just because somebody likes bunnies and sort of a neutral palette. I was really happy with how this one turned out. So thank you so much for joining me today, friends. Happy Easter, and like and subscribe for more content. I'll be making a bunch of quilts coming up.